one of the things we wanted to do was kind of start a new series for the artist showcase. And we, talking to other artists, especially local Austin artists, is something we thought was important. And we started brainstorming some names, and we thought, one of the first names that came up was yours, just in terms of just
oh, wow.
myself being a saxophonist in town, and you being a well-known saxophonist in the area. We thought this would be a good way to kick off the artist interview series. So appreciate you joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me, man. I'm honored to be here.
Yeah, it'll be a good time, man. I thought we'd just kind of talk a little bit about yourself, a little bit more of your background,
Sure.
and then we'll get into some specific music in Austin and some of your specific saxophone setup today.
Yeah, we'll get nerdy. Let's do it.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about yourself, Matt. Like, how long you been in Austin, and what are you currently up to in the Austin music scene?
So I came to the Austin area. I was actually living in San Marcos at about 2009. I went to school. I was at school at Texas State, and just visiting and hanging out and doing that, checking it out, and I ended up liking it, and I ended up moving. So I've been living around the area for about 9-10 years, I guess. Dang, 10, 11 years. Oh, my gosh. I didn't even think about that. Now I think about it. 11 years. So, yeah. Came here and then moved to Austin in 2015. And I went to school at UT, did the whole DMA program. And living here, playing music, teaching lessons. Just here now. It's now that school is over and I'm done. I'm just kind of like, well, I'm here. I'm just going, I'm playing. And, the pandemic hit or whatever, but I'm just here teaching lessons, playing music, and trying to record and do as much as I can while we're cooped up inside.
Yeah, and so talk to me about the jazz program. So when you started in 2015, right? And you just recently graduated, correct?
Yeah. So I started 2015 with the master's, and then I just went all the way through. I was like, well, for me, I'm like, if I'm going to get an upper level degrees and all that goofy stuff, I'm like, I'm going to use it. Like, I want to try to use it. There's people that would maybe like to go to school to learn more, and which I agree, but I wanted to go to school to obviously learn more, but I always wanted to make sure I could use the degree. And I was like, man, if I get the doctorate, I could probably teach at a university. There's a better chance. So I went all the way through it like a crazy person. And it was,
it's a super interesting thing. So, I mean, do you know how many people actually went through the whole entire thing? Because I'm sure some of them dropped out after you did the master's program, right? I mean, how many of you guys went all the way through?
I was the only one that stayed. I was the only person that stayed all the way through. Some people came back. A really good friend, actually a local guitar player, Marco Santos, who came from Brazil, went there, did his master's, backed out, was living here, and he's like, I love it here. I really want to continue going to school, and he stayed, and he hopped back in. So there's only a very few of us. It hasn't been since like early 2000s that people are just like, I'm just going to stay here.
Right.
Bunch of crazy people that want to get doctorates.
It's interesting too. I mean, think about that's kind of what recently happened, but that's a kind of, I'd say, the big mecca of what's been going on in your life. But talk to me how you got there. I mean, was jazz always something that was it for you, or did you kind of fall in love with it? I mean, what got you into music first of all, I guess, to start?
Yeah. So as a little kid, mom, dad, I was listening to music, and what's funny is the first saxophonist I've ever heard was actually Kenny G.
Okay, we got to stop the interview right here.
I know, right? Shut it down.
Shut it down. Is Kenny G a positive or a negative compliment? What's your take on it?
He can play and he does his thing, and there's a lot of jazz purists that I'm a part of, and I'm a part of I consider myself a part of all the everything, every type of music genre. So I sit there, and people who consider themselves jazz purists hate him, but for me, man, he does his thing, and the joke is always like, oh, he's not cashing out. He's not throwing out, he's cashing in. So it's like, I think he's great. I mean, he's cool. I'm not like, I don't like the guy or anything. I think he's great. He does his thing. He sounds good. He's a cool dude.
You and I are in the same boat, because I gotta say, Kenny G is somebody that he's not. I don't listen to him on a regular basis, but
Yeah.
I'm never gonna dog the guy. Like, yeah, he's just doing his thing, like you said. That's kind of how I've always viewed it. But it's always funny is there's always anytime you tell somebody you play the saxophone, they always say it's Kenny G.
He sounds good, man.
Yeah.
He sells more than all the jazz guys. I mean,
Hey, he's doing his thing, and that's all right. So
doing his thing, if I have to, there's weddings where they're like, "Can you play?" I love Kenny G. Can you play the wedding song? And for $1,000, you're not gonna be like, "No, I don't want to play that." Oh, really? Okay. It's like I think you better sound like him. It's like do your thing, man. That's the first guy I heard. I was a little kid, and my cousin was a band director, so I lucked out. They were about to put me on trombone. And so I just remember walking into the room and getting ready. They're going to choose your instrument, and get ready to roll. And there was. There was a sticker. It says Mr. Benitez, my cousin. And he's like, Matt Maldanaldo should be playing saxophone. And I was like, oh, thank God. So
that's awesome.
Kid, I started with that, and I loved it. And the funny thing is, it was not my first love by any means. Like, I was a baseball player through and through, man. Played football the way through senior year. Not football, but I played baseball the way through senior year, played football. I was going to finish through, and then it interfered with music. So I was like, I don't want to do football. So I ended up just finishing it out with band in high school. But music was a big part of my life, but baseball was definitely number one for the longest time, man. That's back when I was in shape. Now I am a shape. It was so music has always been part of my life, man. I loved it. Cousins and stuff would show me different saxophone things, and I became very fond of the pop saxophone style, and then learned more about jazz later, and that was it, man. I just said, well, let's do it. I wanted to do music.
Yeah, I love hearing that. We have similar backgrounds. Except I started on the drums, and then once I realized I didn't have a rhythm, they moved me to the saxophone. So,
oh man, now you have more rhythm.
Hey, it's how it works, right? So, I mean, it's kind of funny though, but yeah, it's interesting, kind of understanding where people originally fall in love and with music, and everybody's got a different experience and a different shape to it, which is always interesting to me. So, talk to me about the jazz program itself. I mean, what do you think is the biggest thing you learned from the program that you learned from that you use today? I mean, what in terms of maybe applicability of the theory, or is it a certain experience or a concert you did? Like, what would you say the biggest thing was from your doctor program?
Making friends in that. And I know it's like, well, you learned about jazz. You don't need to go to school to learn about jazz. You don't have to. I mean, I had like books up there, Western tonal harmony, blah blah blah. Man, you just turn on the records. You learn from the records. You yourself? Where do you listen to? I need to sound like this. Ms. Mack's like, yo, I need you guys sound like this. She starts the recording. That's it. Done. You're done. You do the recording. Listen to the recording. You're done. So it's fun, and I learned a lot of stuff. But man, you really learn how to work with people, and there are a lot of great people. Like, man, there's no one that I hated being around in the jazz department. It was just a party up there in the 6th floor all the time. We're always having fun. We're always learning. But man, you really learn how to deal with people and work with people, which is the most. I mean, unless you're a millionaire sitting at home, you're going to have to talk to someone. Yep. So, which is fun. And I love talking to people. It's like,
I love that, because it seems to me that a lot of people, almost every musician I know, we have a similar thread of understanding of people. Right. And I think that's why we all get along so well, is that everybody kind of has this core, similarity of just being around people and wanting to create. And I think that creative juice is always what's, I think kind of makes us all work together. But it's interesting you said that. It's a I don't know. I like it. Makes a lot of sense.
I've been asked before, and I always say the same thing. That's what it is, man. It's exactly what it is. You have to learn how to work with people. And yeah, you learn a lot about music. Of course, you're going to music school. But I mean, once you're at the doctorate level and you get in, well, getting in is one thing. It's not,
right.
It's hard enough. you walk in there and all of a sudden you have Michael Brecker and Chris Potter like, I want to do my doctorate this year. Well, guess what? You're not doing your doctorate this year. You know, getting in is hard enough, and you know enough to get in. And you learn things. You learn how to teach. You have different opportunities. Like I had the opportunity to teach the big band.
Yeah.
You know, so I did that for 2 years, man. I taught the big band, and they're like, concerts on this date. This is where you get your music. See you there.
That's really cool. And I feel like it's probably more fun just to hang out with the kids in the band anyway. I mean,
it's hilarious for the fact that these are some of your friends.
Right.
You know? And so sometimes you're like, hey, stop. we're doing something here. You know, they're messing around. You have to bark at them a little bit and be the professor. But then you get it. Then they're your friends and they still listen to you and they're cool about it. But you get to teach a big band, man. And the big band is like my number one thing. You know, there's this big audition coming up at the end of January that I'm like really interested in. And big band is my life. And, you know, I love big band music. It's one of my favorite things. I love playing in pop bands and all that stuff. But I love big band music. I'm just a nerd, man. So getting to teach is amazing. Like, it was so fun.
I would say there's nothing like the sound of a big band with the bass trombone and the full trumpet section, the full sax section. There's nothing like it. I mean, we should talk offline on it. The first time I had to play Groovin' Hard on the sax solo, I was 19 in the Memphis Jazz Orchestra, and I was scared for my life. But it's an awesome. There's nothing like it. I mean, it's awesome. So, you know, talk to me a little bit about your current setup, your current projects. I mean, are you working with some of those people you were in the program today? I read through. You have your own quintet, right?
I do quartet. Yep. Sometimes quintet if I get a pianist, but I do. I work with those guys all the time. So Marco Santos, the guitar player I was just talking about, that's one of the best guitar players on the planet. I mean, the guy can do anything. I mean, he's from Brazil, came to school here. You hear him play sambas, bossa novas, and all of a sudden he's sitting there playing a country tune and he's looking at you, he's sticking his tongue out and winking and laughing. You're like, this guy's from Brazil.
Right.
Sounded better than us, you know, like playing everybody's music. I played with him, and then a couple of drummers, Don Gozzard, who's actually teaches in Maynard Middle School, one of the Maynard middle schools out there, Decker Middle School, and played. He was a master student there. Ross Margitza, piano player. Now he's in LA. Got him from the school. And they're all from the university. I've literally no one from my other past is in my band except for the bass player, who's Ben Trish. But everyone else is all from the school. They're all from UT. You have some of the best players walking through that door. You know, you never know who's going to be in the university. You never know what they bring to the table. That's what I really love about the university. It's like, I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting there, and I'm talking to this guy, and this guy's like, hey, man, I'm Ross Margitza. And I'm like, Ross Margitza. And I go, that's interesting. And I laugh, and I'm sitting there, and I go, you wouldn't happen to be related to Rick Margitza. Rick Margitza's a famous tenor. You're not in your head. That's the last person to play with Miles. That's his cousin. And so the first time I go, you know, so the first time I hear Ross play, I remember looking at the bass player, and he looks at me, and we're like, yeah, we got to practice. This guy's not messing around. You know, and he's in LA now. He teaches out there, but he is also one of the best musicians I've ever heard. So all those guys I went to school with, I mean, if I didn't make those friendships, of course I could throw a rock and hit a guitar player in Austin, and they would kill it.
Sure.
I mean, come on. You know, it's like it's easy to find people here, but with the fact that we're that close at the university, then we're playing music, you want to play with your friends, you know?
Yeah, and you're exactly right. I mean, we talk about this in our group. I mean, the chemistry off the stage, you know, I think you create and make better music on the stage, and I think it makes a difference. So you're exactly right. I mean, it definitely elevates to, you know, the level of play and what you're creating.
Yeah, man, it's super fun. I mean, I've seen you guys, man. You've seen me out there. You see me go out there solo, so you know I'm going to listen. I'm going just to listen to you guys. I think I've done that 2 or 3 times, just to go and watch. And I just sitting there and you could see you guys laughing and having fun and dancing and playing. There's nothing like playing with your friends, you know, and having the opportunity to do that. There's nothing better than that.
Yeah, man, and we appreciate the support, man. I always see you out there, and it's always nice of you to show up, man. So let's switch gears a little bit. Kind of my section called my favorite things. So we'll do a little John Coltrane shout out. So favorite jazz artist.
Okay, this is like
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Favorite jazz artist. Does it matter the instrument or? No,
my second question is my favorite jazz saxophonist. So if you want to separate them or put them together, either way.
I'm gonna separate them. I love Miles Davis. It's funny, I don't say that often. I don't say like I listen to Miles Davis every day. No, but to think about what he's done for music and how far he went and how on all sides, him and Herbie Hancock are probably my two favorite jazz musicians of all times who have done everything for music.
Yeah.
I mean, you sit there, you watch Herbie Hancock, and you're like, yeah, that piano player's pretty good. You know, a rap guy who's never listened to jazz before is like, man, that guy's a bad dude wearing his cool shades, and he's sitting there with a fluorescent jacket and playing piano. And then you're like, that's Herbie Hancock, dude. He used to play with Miles. You know, it's like, right. But he's sitting there playing with Christina Aguilera. You know, you know, that's what I love. I love the musicians that will go and do everything. Like, if you want to do one thing, do it.
Yep.
But if you want to be, I don't know, I want to be like them. You know, I want to play everything. I want to do everything.
Well, when you transcend genres, that's when you know that you're just making music. You're not just narrowed into some type of lane that, I mean, if you do that, that's great, like you said, but it's cool to try new things. And
it's the best. It's like, man, yeah. I love it more than anything in the world playing. I mean, I do jazz all the time and I play funk and hip hop and all that stuff. But man, I play musicals. I do Broadway shows. They come to town. I'm sitting there in the pit with a piccolo. You know, it's like, it's my favorite thing to play everything. So that's why I really love those guys, because they've changed music for everyone, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's go with favorite saxophonist.
Oh, dude, this is going to be a long list, but I was actually thinking about this the other day. So it's funny that before we had conversations about, you know, this interview, but man, I love Michael Brecker. Always going to love Michael Brecker. There's going to be a couple. Michael Brecker's the guy who really, you know, playing a lot of different styles. He's got his own thing. But man, I love Bob Reynolds. I don't know.
Bob Reynolds. Yeah,
Bob
man.
Reynolds is the man, you know.
He's in the top 5 for me.
It's because he does everything. He does it with ease, and he's a good guy. And it's like he's accessible. Yeah. You know, I messaged him, and he'll talk. You know, went out to LA to go visit Ross, and I sit there, and I go, hey, you playing tonight? Just asked. And he's like, yeah, come through. Who does that, you know?
That's unreal. That's awesome.
And he's a cool dude. You know, it's just like, you can't, I don't know. Those are my two really favorite saxophonists. You know, of course, I can go and say, of course, Dexter Gordon. We're going to talk about Dexter Gordon, and we're going to talk about, you know, God, Charlie Parker. And you want to go back further? You know, we can talk about anybody, Oliver Nelson. You know, it's like Hawk, whoever. But it's like those two guys are some that have really, really changed my life forever. If I will throw a third, Stanley Turrentine.
Oh, that you hit top 3 for me on that one.
Even the way I play, it's like it. But the thing is, for you, man, you play in like a half pop, half soul, half funk, R&B, blues machine, and the band you play with, and it's like, if you don't sound like Stanley Turrentine, then pack up.
Pack up. It's time to go home, man. Exactly right. It's funny. Sugar is one of my favorite tunes that have ever been written. I mean, it's a classic song, but it's interesting you say those names, because when you listen, everybody go listen to Matt play. You hear your influences in your playing. You hear Brecker, you hear Turrentine, you hear Bob Reynolds. It's awesome. So I mean, everybody go check out his music. It's really, really good. For me, I got to throw in my top 3 just to kind of get your reaction.
I want to hear it.
Number 1 is George Coleman.
Oh, dude.
I'm a big Coleman guy. I grew up in Memphis, so like in terms of my college career and after school, and so to me, Coleman's just a big influence in terms of my playing and my listening. Nice. 2, I'm a I'm a Charles Lloyd guy too.
Dude.
So they're two Memphis guys, but it's just who I kind of grew up listening to. And then Turrentine's third.
Oh man, did you not too long ago? I don't know if you were here. It was about 3-4 years ago. How long have you been here? I can't remember.
4.5 years now.
Okay, so then you might have seen the concert. You know Charles Lloyd was here, right?
Yeah, so I knew he was here. I didn't go to that show, but when I was in college, he did a master class at my school, and it's a funny story, but my quartet was the master class band, and we played Forest Flower.
Oh,
and
dude,
so, but it's just funny being, I'm the tenor guy, and everybody's like, all right, we're gonna play Forest Flower, and Charles Lloyd's sitting 5 feet from me, and I'm like, this is gonna go pretty bad, but. It's crazy though. I mean, he was, his type of feedback and he was very accessible, but he's someone that I've always enjoyed listening to. And in terms of transcending music, he was like the first musician to sell into the Soviet Union, like that sold a record back in the 70s. So it's just an interesting kind of guy, but
he's incredible. I mean, his compositions and his outlook on music, it's a mixture of genres and ideas and thoughts, and I mean he's such a great flute player too, and it's just like, get out of here, man. Can you not sound so good on everything you play? I love his music. But seeing that concert was I was like, man, wow.
It's crazy. Well, let's go with, I got one more question for you. Favorite, in terms of the favorite thing segment before we wrap up, favorite venue to play in Austin, if you have one.
I don't know. It would be a lot of mad people because it's like the owners of some of the clubs.
There's so many great clubs to play, but I mean, if you had a couple that just come to top of mind for you, that you enjoy the most.
I will name my favorite places. I love playing at the Elephant Room. If I don't say the Elephant Room, I'm a big fat liar. Like it's like I would lie if I didn't say that. So I absolutely love the Elephant Room. I absolutely love playing at Parker. I mean, that stage is ridiculous. If you don't like playing there, I don't know what's wrong with you. Like, I mean, this sounds amazing. You have Mack back there. It's like, dude, you can't get anything better than Mack sitting back there. He says, I'm a knob turner or something like that because I'm not an engineer. I'm like, you really, Matt? But besides the two jazz clubs, I know it's like, well, you nerd, you named two jazz clubs. I really love playing at Antone's.
That place, man, it's one of my favorite places I've played too. The sound in there is crazy.
It's unbelievable, It doesn't get much better than playing at Antone's. That's why everyone comes in and goes and plays there. I mean, there's shows all over the place in town, but you go in there and you're like, damn, the sound is
nice.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And here's another place. There's a little hidden gem. I'm pretty sure you've definitely probably been there. The Townsend.
Yeah, I've been there. I've never played there, but I have been there.
You have I can't remember his name. He's an Italian guy. Oh, geez, I'm gonna shoot myself in the foot. I can't remember his name, but he runs sound there. And man, the first time I played there with Kevin Flatt, the trumpet, Kevin played there, I was like, the sound is amazing here. Mm-hmm. It's a small room. It's one of those places where you play and they're gonna have to listen. They have no choice. Like I love that. It's like, now you're actually gonna have to listen to music. What a concept, But it's like the small listening room, in the back of, I guess that's where a lot of the Congress people roll in there and after their work at, downtown, and they just roll over there and they're getting drinks, and you'll see a lot of people in here, the mayor and stuff. It's wow. But like the sound in there is incredible, and nobody really plays there, and it's a shame because it's such a sweet place.
Yeah, well, Matt, I really appreciate you kind of walking through your story and kind of hearing about how you fell in love with music, your jazz, getting a PhD in jazz in music is an incredible feat, and you got your own group here. Do you have any shows coming up you want to tell everybody about? Anything you got coming up?
I do. I'm playing on Sunday with Christian Wiggs. I've recorded 3 albums with that guy. Well, I'm always a part of his albums. But so I'm playing on Sunday, which is another great venue, by the way. Monks. They're all Colin Chick is absolutely crushing it. he's doing his thing there. But I'm playing there at Monk's. I believe it's 7:30.
Okay.
And then for as far as what's coming up for me, I am actually going to record a record soon.
Really?
Writing. I've been hush hush, not telling everybody. Everybody might know now, but
I mean, did we just get breaking news on Funky Friday?
I'm actually going to be recording a record. I'm kind of picking spots, seeing what's going on, and it's going to happen. It's about to happen. Looks like yeah. So it's going to be a little different. I'm coming out swinging. I'm bringing out the Iwi. I'm bringing out. There's a lot of stuff going to be on it. You know, tenor,
good for you, man.
Alto, maybe some soprano. We'll just leave it at that. I'm looking forward to it because my first album. I played on everyone else's records.
Why not make your own, right?
About time. It's like, geez, why not?
Yeah.
What else am I gonna do? Play Call of Duty all day? You know, it's like.
Well, I'm super excited to hear that once that comes out. So, you know, we heard about your upcoming show. Just to make sure all the viewers and the listeners know where to catch you. Any Facebook, Instagram, Matthew Maldanaldo, is that where everybody can find you?
Yeah, just type in Matt Maldanaldo music. My name will definitely pop up. It's pretty much one of the only names that kind of works that way. It's like every time everyone searched their name before, let's be honest. And so it pop up and it's always like a wrestler, and then it's me. I'm like, yeah, I think they'll find me. But definitely I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm right now working on a website. What will be Matt Maldanaldo Music.com. We'll be popping out probably by the end of the month. Just got to get it all together. Not going to put out something dumb.
Got to take your time. It takes time. Well, appreciate the time, man, Matt, and take care. And appreciate you joining the segment on Funky Friday for the artist interview. And we'll catch you soon. All right.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. This is fun, man. Great talking.
All right, man. Sounds good. See you, man.
Bye-bye.